member of my group. And then I can tell you what's in the medical literature rather than have to treat you with standard of care.
If the health of living cells is governed by voltage, then an obvious concern in modern society is the rapidly growing pervasiveness of wireless technologies. We asked Dr. Tennant to identify some of the greatest obstacles we should be aware of today.
Well, there's no doubt that we have all sorts of things that affect us. You know, for example, if I had you hold your arm straight out and push down on it, you would be strong. And then if I had you take a wristwatch with a battery in it and hold it right up against your chest and I pushed on your arm, you would go weak. So again, when we put electromagnetic energy within our personal magnetic field, it weakens us. Of particular frequencies weaken us. And so we're being bombarded with that sort of thing all the time. Here's the bottom line of the whole thing. We are constantly wearing ourselves out. So you get new cells in the macula of your eye every 48 hours. The lining of your gut's replaced every 3 days. The skin you're sitting in today is 6 weeks old. Your liver's 8 weeks old, and your nervous system 8 months old. So as cells wear out, you have to make new ones. Or if the cells get damaged some way, you have to make new ones. So chronic disease only occurs when you lose the ability to make new cells at work. Let me say that one more time. Chronic disease only occurs when you lose the ability to make new cells at work, which leads one to the question, well, what's it take to make a new cell that works? Well, first of all, where cells run at minus 25 millivolts of energy, it takes minus 50 millivolts to make a new cell. So you have to have the voltage. Then you have to have all the parts it takes to make a cell. You know, if a tornado blows your house down, you can't build a house back with doorknobs and bathroom tiles. You have to have everything it takes to make a house. And that's one of the big mistakes people make when they say, well, I'm trying to get well. And you say, well, take this stuff. They come back later and you say, well, you're still taking all this stuff. No, I just wanted to know what one thing worked. So I've just been taking one thing at a time. Well, nothing works. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Again, that concept of I want to know what works won't work because you have to have everything it takes to make a cell. And that's the nutrition piece, of course. So we have to have 50 millivolts of energy. We have to have all the parts it takes to make a cell. And we have to get rid of any toxins that damage cells as fast as you make them. So if you don't do all three of those things, you won't get well. One then goes in and looks at each of those. So, for example, the voltage piece, we're able to measure the voltages in the circuits using something similar to the Nakatani or Vol methodology. But one of the important things to understand is that it's well known in battery technology that if you take a rechargeable battery and you drain it all the way to zero, it'll flip itself upside down, flips the polarity. Well, if you take a battery upside down, put it in a battery charger, it won't take a charge, of course. So what we do is we go through and we can measure the polarity of every circuit in your body and figure out which ones are upside down. And those are the ones where you're going to be sick, because you don't have juice. And those circuits are trying to borrow voltage from the next door neighbors. But I like to say the neighbors will give you a cup of sugar now and then, but they won't give you 3 meals a day. There are two kinds of energy in the universe that I'm aware of, electromagnetic and then scalar. And of course, scalar has the ability to reverse the polarity back to normal. So we have a device that will do that called a biotransducer. And we simply can put it on one of the acupuncture spots in the body, and all your batteries get turned back up. Of course, they're still discharged. Then we take the biomodulator, which puts out a specific waveform, and recharge your batteries back up. Now your battery has power again. And then the body never forgets how to repair itself, just that it has to have the power to do it, has to have the materials to do it. So no matter what's wrong with you, again, you ask me about neurology, nephrology, cardiology, any of the ologies, you treat them all the same way because they're all sick for the same reason. They lost the ability to make new cells at work, or they lost the power to run. You can't have a heart that works if it's trying to run on 5 millivolts instead of 25 millivolts, right? You can't have a macula in your eye that works. All macular degeneration is because you've lost power in the stomach circuit, which is the power. The stomach circuit is acupuncture circuit. It's the power supply to the macula. So anytime somebody has macular degeneration, and you measure it, you'll always find there's inadequate power, and it's reversed the polarity in the stomach circuit. Whereas glaucoma, the optic nerve's on a different circuit. It's on the liver circuit. And so every time you see a glaucoma patient and measure it, the liver circuit will have flipped its polarity. So how do you treat it? You flip the polarity back, you charge the battery back up, and then you figure out why did the battery lose its charge in the first place. Well, there are 5 basic reasons. One is that you have to look at thyroid hormone, because thyroid controls the voltage of every cell membrane in the body. T3 controls the voltage of the cell membranes and the number of mitochondria. T2 controls the function of the mitochondria. So you always, let's say you don't have enough thyroid hormone, your battery discharges to here. Now, if you put a scar across one of your circuits and it touches the fascia, it shorts it out like any other electronic short. So wherever you have scars, that's going to short out that circuit. So many women have a C-section scar which goes right across the stomach circuit. The spleen-stomach circuit is the entire reproductive system, the entire endocrine system, the thinking part of the brain, the macula of the eye. Okay, so thyroid takes us down to here, scars take us down to here. Dental infections, since every circuit goes through specific teeth, if you have an infection in a tooth, that acts like a resistor and drops the voltage. All right, dental infections takes you down to here. Emotions are stored in the body as magnetic fields, as I discussed in my lecture to the Electric Universe. And all of us have emotions, but if you have a wire and you put a magnetic field around it, it blocks the flow of voltage. That's how emotions drop our voltage and make us sick. Thyroid, scars, dental infections, emotions, and finally toxins, and now your battery is drained to zero and flips upside down, and there you go, you're sick. One of the problems with American medicine is that the scientists say we have to isolate everything else and look at just this one thing to see if it's the cause of the disease. It almost never is. Almost all diseases are multifactorial. That's why we have such a hard time in American medicine finding the cause, because it's almost always several causes that flip the voltage. Then when you don't have voltage, as voltage drops, oxygen drops, because the amount of oxygen that will dissolve in a liquid is dictated by the voltage of the liquid. When you lose voltage, you lose oxygen. When you lose oxygen, your metabolism becomes inefficient, infections show up, and when you get to plus 30 millivolts, you have cancer. Simple as that.